So I recently finished watching the show Lost, and I'm a really big fan of the show now. And I have to say, even though I didn't love the ending of the show, it wasn't as bad as I had anticipated. But I do think that there could be made some improvements about the show. And my idea was to make an kind of like anthology show, which shows off some of the mysteries we never got to see solved in the show. There's some episodes about characters that we didn't get to know all that well. It could have like a cheeky little title like The Lost Chapters or something like that, and it could make a meaningful addition to the main story that not only gives you closure on the character stories, but like also closure on the story of the island with all its mysteries. And I would like the show to kind of like focus on parts of the story that we didn't get to see. Like for example, we get to know so much about Jack and Locke, but hardly anything about Jacob and the Man in Black, as well as about the others. So how about some episodes focused on only one or two characters from the supporting cast? Like one episode about Ethan, maybe about his motivations, so maybe like in one of the short stories, where it was revealed that his wife and child died in childbirth, which is why he acts really overprotective around Claire. Or maybe one episode focused around the Man in Black, where we get to see how he spends his time during the Egyptian times, because there were some theories about him and his involvement in the ending of the Egyptian times on the island. And I think that would be really interesting to see, because even though the story focuses on the Egyptian statues and on the Egyptian relics, we barely get to know anything about that time, and it would be really interesting to see how Richard, the Man in Black, and Jacob interacted with these people. There also could be one episode all about the Dharma outposts. Like for example, all about the people who spent their time pressing the button, or about Desmond's old partner and how he got the job, like from the others, or was he still under Dharma? And there you could also solve some of the mysteries, like for example the experiments they did on birds. Like for example the one bird we heard say Hugo's name, and there it could be explained why he says this name or what the Dharma Initiative had to do with that. Because in the show's epilogue, the new man in charge, we get to see some of these mysteries being explained, but it's not really a part of the show, which is why a lot of people don't even know these short stories exist. And then one episode could be focused around Jacob. And this could be an episode where we get to see just how he chooses his candidates and what butterfly effects did he set in stone while interacting with his candidates. And maybe like one episode based around Richard and his time throughout the ages as someone who can never age or die, which could be really interesting because in the main show we never get to see what his job on the island really is, and we never really get to know more about his backstory besides how he got on the island. This episode could also be focused on the backstory of the island and its mysteries. It could, for example, explain why the ghostly apparitions are in the jungle. Like for example, Jack saw his father in the earlier episodes. And I think all of these episodes could lead to the story being more vivid, because the story of the island itself is more drawn out, and the questions that weren't or couldn't be answered in the main series could be answered here. Of course, this series always was about the story of the characters, but the lore of Lost and the mystery behind the island as well as its powers were always part of the main focus of the show. And they were part of the reason why Lost is still a household name nowadays, because people are still theorizing about some of the mysteries and side stories. So as you can hear, I'm just a big fan of Lost now, and I've been thinking about this show a lot recently, so I just had to make a video focused around this topic. I hope you liked it, and if you have any ideas for the Lost chapters or for an episode, you can write it down in the comments below. Thanks for watching. I see you the next time.